Okay, today we're going to talk about 7-6 congruence. We are going to skip this page, go to the second page, because some of those figures are similar, not congruent. And you'll see here the definition of congruent is the same size and the same shape, which we've talked about congruent angles already. So correspondence is a way of matching up the two sets of objects. So we're going to talk about which angles are corresponding angles, which sides are corresponding sides. And you know that if two polygons are congruent, like you see below, we're telling you that the triangles are congruent there, then their corresponding sides and their corresponding angles are congruent. And when we talk about corresponding congruent statements, we look at the first triangle and we write that in alphabetical order. So we're going to go down here, I'm going to go down below, and it says write a congruence statement for each pair of polygons. So we look at triangle ABC, and I'm going to start with that one in alphabetical order. So I'm going to write triangle, hold on. Okay, so we were saying that looking at the first triangle, you can name that in alphabetical order, triangle ABC. And then we are going to say it is congruent to, because we can see that the angles are equal to. So we started with angle A, right here. Angle A, what does that correspond to? In the second triangle, angle Q. So we say, we put them in that order, Q. So what came next? Angle B. So look up here, and angle B was 35 degrees. What does that correspond to in the second triangle? R. So Q, R, and then it will finish with P, because P should correspond to C. P is 55, C is 55. So the order is very important. So ABC is congruent to triangle QRP. You can automatically then assume that angle A and angle Q are the same. You can assume that angle B and angle R are congruent, and that angle C and angle P are congruent. Okay, so that is our congruence statement. Now, if we look over here, this shape is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-sided. It's not regular, but they're pentagons. So we look at the first one, and it is, we're going to start with D, E, F, G, H. So we say pentagon D, E, F, G, H is congruent to pentagon what? So now we have to name the second pentagon. So we look over here, and angle D is where we started. That was number 1. What does that correspond to? Angle M. So I'm going to name that as number 1. We went from D to E. Angle E was right here at number 2, 88 degrees. What does that angle E corresponds to? N. So the next thing, we're going to call this M, N, and we keep going around in the circle then, because it should still follow the same order. If this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we should start here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So M, N, O, P, Q. And then you can check to make sure we did this right. We should think that G should correspond to P. So look up here at G. It's 95 degrees, and P is 95 degrees. So we wrote that correspondence statement correctly. So that's our correspondence statement. Okay, congruence, I said correspondence statement, it's supposed to be congruent statement. The next thing, in the figure below here, we have a quadrilateral, VWXY is congruent to quadrilateral JKLM. And this time we want to find A and B. So what are A and B? Well, we have to make sure we have the correspondence congruent statement right here, so that we know that V right here corresponds to the first one, J, the second letter W corresponds to the second letter K right here. So I'm color coding them so you can kind of see. The third letter is X. That corresponds to L. And then you're left with Y corresponding to M. Okay, so finding A. Here's A. Oops. Right there, A plus 8, so the length of the side WX should be equal to the length of KL. Look at WX, the two letters are in the middle. KL, the two letters are in the middle. So this is equal to 24. So there is an equation, since we're taking pre-algebra and we're getting ready for algebra, we need to write down A plus 8 equals 24. And then you can solve that as an equation by subtracting 8 from both sides, and A equals 16. So go back to the question, and it said find A. That's all we need to do. The length of this side, 16 plus 8 is 24, which makes sense because KL is 24. Okay, next one, it says find B. Where is B? So if I look over here, I see B is along this side right here, which corresponds to XY. XY are the last two letters, LM the last two letters. So this side, 6B, equals 30. 6 times what equals 30? B equals 5. How did we get that algebraically? We divided both sides by 6. But you know in your head that 6 times 5 is 30, so B is 5. Okay, if you have any questions, put a question mark on your paper so that tomorrow we can answer those questions in class. Have a great night. Thanks.